officially live. What is up, everybody? What is up? Let's see who's going to get first in chat tonight. While we wait on that, I'm going to head on over to the channel, get the comments pulled up on my second monitor. What did you guys think? What did you guys think? I want to know. What did you think about the summary stream that we did yesterday, where we kind of just took the two main keys and made it as simple as possible and summarized it? What did you guys think about that? I want it to catch on, man, that is our go-to stream. That way, when we get new people in here, right? Everybody knows to send them that stream, the one we did yesterday. It's got a picture of two keys on it. You can't miss it, right? I want that to catch on. Sanchez is going to get first in chat tonight. What's up, dude? Welcome. Kate, welcome. Z, welcome. Says, yo, first. You missed it, dude. Barely missed it. You're coming in third. Sanchez is going to get the first tonight. What's up, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Who else we got in here? Travis, what's up? Watched it earlier. Very useful. Glad you think so, Kate. Sanchez in the Halloween spirit already. I love to see it. Love to see it. Love to see it. Also, shout out, guys, man. I appreciate it. We're on a 32-day streak, man. I appreciate that. Very good video. Glad you enjoyed it, Sam. Yeah, just so we're all clear here, I do want it to catch on that whenever we've got newcomers come to the channel, send them that stream. Send them that stream. That way it's not so confusing or overwhelming for new people. Tony, what's up, dude? I hope you're doing well. Hi, Chris. Do a tough one tonight. Play hell with us. In the mood for a motivation stream, I see. That was an awesome stream. I appreciate it, Sanchez. What's up, Perp? Welcome, dude. Good to see all these familiar faces in here tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about do the opposite of what your anxiety wants. Do the opposite of what your anxiety wants. And I will go into detail and I will explain to you why that needs to be done. I will explain to you how that goes along with everything that we've ever said here, right? Doing the opposite of what your anxiety wants. Chat's pretty much already filled up, so we might as well go ahead and get started. Thanks to you, man, I've come about 75% of the way to full recovery. Just trying to get back to being able to drink caffeine again. So 75% of the way to full recovery. I'm glad that you're obviously making progress. What I would say to you is stay tuned. Stay tuned because we're going to be talking about doing the opposite of what your anxiety wants tonight. Now, as far as drinking caffeine or drinking in general, I get asked those questions a lot. Wonder Bro, do you recommend that I start drinking caffeine again or that I indulge in drinking alcohol again? And that's one that I always just leave up to the person, right? It's going to be up to you on what you physically indulge in, stuff like that, and actually ingest, right? That's something that I'm going to be willing to leave up to you. But I do recommend you watch the rest of the stream because we're going to be talking about how you can really drive home, right? If you think you're about at 75%, we're going to be talking about how you can really drive that recovery home. So, let's see here. Go ahead and get that out of the way, and let's jump right into it because we've already got a full chat tonight. So doing the opposite of what your anxiety wants. If you've been here for a while, you already know what the two main keys are. Live your life and stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. Stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings and live your life. Why? Because this is how you demonstrate to the brain that there is no real threat. This is how you demonstrate to the brain slowly over time that it needs to make some adjustments. So where does doing the opposite of what your anxiety want, where does that really come into play? I'll tell you where that comes into play. That comes into play and makes everything full circle. You could literally take the two main keys, which is to stop fighting with your thoughts and feelings and live your life, and you could sum them up in those words. Do the opposite of what anxiety wants. Here's the thing. If you are doing the opposite of what your anxiety wants, then there's no way that you could possibly be fighting with the thoughts because that's what the thoughts want you to do. That's what your anxiety wants you to do, right? Try to fight with them and figure them out. So there's no way that you could be fighting with your thoughts, right? So if you're truly living by doing the opposite of what your anxiety wants, you are going to be using the two main keys by default, and that's just a much simpler way to put it. Do the opposite of what your anxiety wants. So if you're doing that, there's no way you could be fighting with the thoughts, and there's no way you could not be living, right? Because your anxiety doesn't want you to live. It thinks that you're under some sort of threat, some sort of danger that you're not really under. Your anxiety, okay, wants you to stay in bed. It wants you to stay on the couch 20 hours of the day. It wants you to not do those house chores. It wants you to not do that housework. It wants you to not take your dog on that walk. It wants you to not call and talk to that girl that you're interested in or that guy that you're interested in. It wants you to hide away. Right? It wants you to stay quiet and not sing along to your favorite music. It wants you to stay quiet and not laugh to that funny video. It wants you to be consumed. It thinks that there's a real threat and a real danger to your life that is actively happening. So your anxiety wants you basically to not live. It wants you to take shelter. It wants you to hide. It wants you to basically stop living so that you can be safe. But unfortunately, we can't just tell that anxious brain, hey, there's not a real danger. You can stop giving me these symptoms now, these thoughts, these physical symptoms, right? We can't do that. It's not listening. We have to show it that the threat isn't real. So here's the problem. Do you see the problem? When the anxiety thinks there's a threat, right? And if you've been in this anxiety state for a while, it's safe to assume that your brain always assumes to a certain degree that there's a threat. But when your brain assumes there's a threat, right, and you continue to say, okay, I guess there is, by the way that you behave, staying in bed all day, not doing the things you used to enjoy, not living life, fighting with the thoughts, then your brain's just going to continue, as a result of that behavior, continue to assume the threat is real, the danger is real. And since you can't talk to it, right? Since you can't talk to it and just tell it, hey, brain, there's no problem here, since you can't do that, you're wasting your time. And the only way that you can talk to it, there is one way you can talk to it, and you know what I'm getting ready to say. There is one way that you can talk to that part of the brain, and that is through pure experience, aka living life. So as your brain sees you getting out of bed, getting off the couch, doing the things you used to enjoy doing, right? And I'm not saying you can't have a lazy day here and there. I'm not saying, but as you're doing the opposite, which is what this stream's about tonight, as you're doing the opposite of what anxiety wants you to do, you are speaking the language that your brain speaks. You are speaking the direct language that your anxiety speaks, which is your behaviors. And now you see why the two main keys are what they are. Stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings because you're wasting your time, you're stressing yourself out, right? And start living. That's the two main keys, and now you see why that is, because that's the way the brain learns. So we're going to jump into some examples because you guys know that I love examples. I love my examples. I don't always give the best ones, but I try. So we're going to jump into some examples. Do the opposite of what your anxiety wants. So let's say you're going through this recovery journey and you're feeling very anxious a certain day, and because of that you want to stay in bed, or because of that you want to stay on the couch, or because of that you want to spend 90% of the day kind of hiding away from the world, right? If you're living by true recovery and you want this bad enough, you're going to remind yourself of what good old Wonder Bro told you, which is to do the opposite of what anxiety wants. Now, what would that look like? That would look like, instead of spending your rough day, and I put that in quotation marks because it's not a rough day, it's a retraining day, right? If you choose to look at it that way. If you choose to use good old Wonder Bro's advice and do the opposite of what anxiety wants, you would take a second to ask yourself, what does anxiety want me to do because I'm feeling so anxious today? Anxiety wants me to stay in bed and get on Reddit over anxiety forums. Or anxiety wants me to stay in bed and not talk to my friends today. Or anxiety wants me to stay in bed and not do that thing today. Or anxiety wants me to stay in bed and not clean the house today. Anxiety wants me to stay in bed and basically avoid. But if you're truly dedicated to recovery, you'll remember these words. Do the opposite of what anxiety wants, because that's how the brain's going to learn. So up out of the bed you go, and on with your day you go, right? Nobody ever said it would be easy. Nobody ever said it would be fun. Nobody ever said you would feel like doing it. But you'll be surprised how quickly you turn it around if you truly start to live by doing the opposite of what anxiety wants. So I'm bringing you this stream, do the opposite of what anxiety wants, as a way to clarify and make simpler the advice you already know, which is the two main keys. Do the opposite of what anxiety wants. You truly live like that, and you'll be well on your way to recovery. Anxiety wants you to fight with those thoughts, but you're not doing that because you're doing the opposite of what anxiety wants. Anxiety wants you to figure the thoughts out. You're not doing that because you're doing the opposite of what anxiety wants. Anxiety wants you to avoid life. You're not doing that because you're doing the opposite of what anxiety wants. Now you're speaking the brain's language. Now you're speaking the brain's language. And another point that I want to make sure I address before I forget is that you might not see instant 100% results. Why? Because the brain learns. It's very good at that. The brain learns, but it doesn't necessarily learn at the pace that you wish it would. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So as you're putting in this work and as you're doing the opposite of what anxiety wants, which is the advice basically put into a nice little gift wrap for you, as you're doing the opposite of what anxiety wants, understand that it's not going to feel comfortable. It's not going to be necessarily something you want to do, and it takes time. And that's okay. It can be rather quick. It can take a little bit longer. It can be, I don't know. You're different. Everybody's different as far as what your brain needs to learn and how far it needs to come. Everybody's different. But understand that, right? So I feel like one example is not enough. Let's move on to another example. Let's try to give a very straightforward example here. Let's say you're chilling and you're watching a movie with your husband, you're watching a movie with your wife, you get this adrenaline, anxiety wants you to get up and it wants you to pace around the house, the same thing you've been doing for these past 2 years or whatever. It wants you to get up, it wants you to pace around the house, it wants you to run outside, it wants you to chug that water down in the heat of the moment, right? So, but hey, you've been watching Wonder Bro. You're going to retrain your brain and show it there's no real danger, no real threat. I'm going to do the opposite of what anxiety wants. So I'm going to get as comfortable as I can on that couch. I'm going to loosen up, right? Get as comfortable as I can on the couch. Put my arm around my honey and enjoy it to the best of my ability, even though anxiety wants me to get up and flee when there's no real danger. Because as long as I continue to get up and flee, I'm just reinforcing the false alarm. And that's really what doing the opposite of what anxiety wants comes down to, right? So let's see. Let's give another example. Let's say let's give another example here, chat. Let's say I have been using acceptance. I have been dedicating to trying to reprogram my brain, but I'm facing a rough day. I'm feeling really anxious. My anxiety wants me to jump on, let's say, my Discord chat, for example. Now, the Discord chat is awesome. Supportive advice, good for newcomers, good for regulars to make friends. But let's say I'm feeling very anxious. Anxiety wants me to go lay on the couch, get in the fetal position, get on the Discord, and ask the same question I've already asked 100 times before. What do? Do I flee to the couch and get on that Discord chat and do that? Or do I just continue washing the dishes? What's the answer, chat? What's the answer? If you're truly dedicated to recovery and showing your brain in the only language it speaks that there is no real danger, then what's the answer to that question? Do I flee to the couch, get in the fetal position, grab my phone, and start asking the same question I've already asked 100 times before and just reinforce to my brain that the threat is real? Or do I continue whatever I was doing before those symptoms came on? The question is, the answer is I continue doing whatever I was doing before those symptoms came on, right? So let's give another example. Let's just keep spitballing them, man. Let's say I'm feeling anxious one day. Anxiety wants me to avoid having dinner with my family, even just at the kitchen table. Anxiety wants me to take my plate of food and run back to my room and lock myself in my room and sit in a dark corner and just barely nibble at my food and be very, very quiet because there's a threat around, right? You got to think like a caveman here because there's a threat around. Then what do? Do I enjoy the dinner with my family? Try to make small talk? Try to eat my food a reasonable amount? Or do I run to my room, hide in the corner, lock the door, and get real quiet, right? What do? You guys know the answer to that. You do the opposite of what anxiety wants you to do. So let's give a more general example. Let's give an example that even my people that are not necessarily full-blown sensitized can relate to. Let's say I really want to talk to this girl. I really like this girl, right? I really want to talk to this girl. I really want to get to know this girl. But my anxiety says, no, don't do it. You'll make a fool of yourself. What do? Do I continue to reinforce to my brain that, yes, I guess this threat is real. I won't talk to her. Or do I make the initiative? Do you see where I'm going with this? You do the opposite of what anxiety wants because anxiety will always be a false alarm, right? Until it's not, and that's what we consider a real-life threat or real-life danger. But guess what? If you're under a real-life threat or a real-life danger, you're not going to give a shit about anxiety. You're going to be too busy trying to save your life. So we don't even need to address that because it'll be very obvious, right? And you won't even care about the anxiety. So yes, that anxiety is going to be a false alarm, okay? So you should always do the opposite of what anxiety wants you to do. And that's another point I wanted to address. Some people say, well, what if it's a real life threat or danger, Wonder Bro? If it is, we won't be having this discussion. You'll be too busy saving your life. You won't even have to second guess it, right? You won't even have to second guess it, right? So as far as those false alarms of anxiety goes, which is anything that's not a tiger in the room with you, if there's not a tiger in the room with you or some sort of threat trying to kill you or take you out, it's going to be a false alarm, right? So during these false alarms, we always need to remind ourselves to do the opposite of what anxiety wants us to do if we want to prove to our brain that this threat is not a real threat. If we want to prove to our brain that we want to be a different person than who we currently are. If we want to prove to our brain that there's a better way to live, we have to stop taking the anxiety's advice. Start taking Wonder Bros advice. Do the opposite of what anxiety wants you to do, right? And like I said, the point of this stream is to do the opposite of what anxiety wants you to do, is because I'm basically just taking the two main keys, which is stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings and live your life, and I'm putting them in another way for you, which is to do the opposite of what anxiety wants you to do. Now, I've given a handful of examples tonight, even some that people that are not necessarily sensitized can kind of work with and run with, right? Let's see if I can pull another one. I don't pre-plan my streams. I feel like I do better if I just ramble. So I'm trying to pull these examples out of thin air here. Maybe I should have wrote down some before we started, but I think I've given some pretty good ones. Let's say anxiety. Right, I'm feeling anxious. Anxiety says, do not go take that shower. Who cares about your personal hygiene? You don't need to get that haircut. You don't need to trim your beard. You don't need to take that shower. You need to stay in bed and hide away from this threat, or you need to make yourself as small as possible to get away from this threat, or be as quiet as possible. What do? You go take that shower while listening to your favorite song, right? And you enjoy that shower. Do you get what we're getting at here, chat? Anxiety is a false alarm, and it's false advice from your brain to save you from threats that don't exist. And the more you continue to fight with the thoughts and feelings, which is what the anxiety wants you to do, hey, figure this out, man. And the more you continue to do what the anxiety wants you to do physically, stay in bed, stay on the couch, don't do this, don't do that, the more you reinforce to the brain that these false alarms are not false. And the brain continues to assume they're not false. We know they're false from the outside looking in. We know they're false from a viewpoint of logic. But in order to prove that to the brain, we have to stop taking its anxiety advice. And we have to start doing the opposite of what anxiety wants, right? Because the longer you do, and I'm about to wrap this up, I just want to say this, the longer you do what anxiety wants you to do, the more you continue to reinforce to the brain that these false alarms are not only needed, but they are true, right? Now, you can't reason with this thing, but you can stop taking its advice and start doing what you want to do and start calling your own shots, and the anxiety will learn. The brain will learn. And that, my friends, was the main point of tonight's stream. I hope somebody takes something from it. Most importantly, as we always say, I hope somebody uses it. Now, let's head on over to post-stream. Whew, that was a mouthful. What'd you guys think? Did you guys enjoy tonight's little ramble, little rant there? Purple says freaking true. I'm glad you agree, dude. When seeking full recovery, there are times when I'm literally feel so close to my normal self again, but constantly in the back of my head I'm thinking about anxiety even when not triggered. Does that stop recovery? If so, how to get over constantly thinking about anxiety? Is more the fear of anxiety attacks that cause the anxiety. Thinking about anxiety or thinking about anything in general really is not so much a problem as long as you're not worried about it. Does that make sense? So if you're fully accepting, right, even if the thoughts of anxiety are on your mind, you're too busy living your life and not fighting with those thoughts and feelings to care. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Sometimes it feels so real and traumatizing. It is real. These are real physical symptoms. These are real, physical symptoms. You are having these thoughts. But is the context real? Like, for example, can you die? No. Can you go crazy? No. Does these intrusive thoughts necessarily mean anything? No. Right? None of that's real. But yes, you are experiencing real symptoms, real anxiety. But it's because of the way your brain is programmed. Right? It's because of the way your brain is programmed. So that's important to remember there. So as we're doing this work, we are reversing that. We are reversing all of the useless, not needed programming anymore by doing what we want to do and calling our own shots instead of taking the anxiety's advice. We are reversing all of that, right? We are reversing all of that. Love your lives, bro. Thank you, Gustavo. Appreciate it, dude. It don't seem as if I'm sensitized anymore. It just seems like I get situational anxiety. Like if I go to somewhere, drive far, stuff like that. Is there still work to do? If you're not sensitized anymore, great. But yes, there is such a thing as being not sensitized, but still needing to work on your programming, right? That's very normal. That's a part of being human. Right? Let's say you're not sensitized anymore. Well, now you're just human, and there's certain aspects of your life that you can improve, and that's great. Can you use the advice just like you did when you were sensitized to get out of being sensitized? Yes, you can. You can use the same advice to continue to grow. Even if you're not necessarily sensitized anymore, you can use the same advice to continue to grow. Absolutely, and I hope you do. I hope you do, because there's always room for improvement, right? There's always room for improvement and retraining your brain and all that good stuff. Always, always, always. So I hope you do want to continue to grow even after you desensitize. I hope you do want to continue to take the advice. I hope you do want to continue to improve and grow in areas of your life where you could use some work, right? Right? And again, can you use the same advice to do that? Absolutely. Absolutely, because you're in charge of how you program your brain. Hi, Wonder Bro. What's up, Edward? Good to see you tonight, dude. Welcome. Love examples. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Let's see. I want to put on real quick. Wonder Bro, another example. Years back, I had an attack with symptoms while getting a haircut. So guess what? I learned to cut my hair all these years. Yeah. So guess what? You learned to cut your hair all these years. So you adapted to the false alarm instead of proving to the brain that the false alarm was indeed false. You get what we're getting at there? And I'm not criticizing you. I'm not saying shame on you. I'm just telling you what's happening here. So, you prove to your brain you got a false alarm while getting a haircut for this reason or that reason. You got up, you learned how to cut your own hair, so you reinforced to the brain that the thought of getting a haircut or being in the barbershop was indeed a real threat. And now you've just kind of adapted and learned how to cut your own hair. So you didn't prove to the brain that threat was not real. You just kind of found a way around it, right? And again, I'm not shaming you. It happens. I'm just kind of pointing out, how this all works here. So, but thank you for providing that example, Sanchez. So you're saying, so do I go get a haircut even though I give myself good haircuts now? So you became a good barber. You gained something from it. That rarely happens. You gained something from it. But should you go now and do it? I don't know. I don't know. That's up to you. Do you want to prove to your brain that the barber shop or the barber in general is not a threat to your life? If that's something you want, if that's something you desire, then you've got the tools to do that, right? Then you've got the tools to do that. Let's see here, chat. Let me grab this real quick. Hey, $5 tip from Sam, dude. Sam, thank you so much for the $5 tip. Thank you, Sam. We're on a 32-day streak, dude. You guys are absolutely insane with the streak right now. Never, never, never would have imagined that it would go to 32 days. Will we move on to 33? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, chat. We'll see. Thank you so much, Sam. Let's give Sam some love in the chat, man. Show Sam some love. Alright, here, chat. Make sure I didn't miss any comments. Make sure the bot didn't hold any comments. That does happen from time to time. Sanchez says, yeah, so proving to your brain that getting a haircut is not a life-threatening situation is something that you want to do. Well, you've got the tools to do it. Now, can I force you to do that? Of course not. Can anybody force you to do that? Of course not. But if your determination and your will to want to overcome this is strong enough, then you've got the tools to do it, right? That's what I'll leave you on right there. You've got the tools to do it. You got the tools to do whatever you want to do. Whether or not you do it, is completely up to you, right? I feel like this was a good one. I really like any streams, right? Any streams where we can clarify things. I like any streams where we can take the already simple advice and make it simpler. So, you know, for the people out there that like it super simple, which is what we've always tried to do. If you want to just do and live by doing the opposite of what anxiety wants, so it wants you to fight with the thoughts, don't fight with the thoughts. Wants you to hide away from the world, don't hide away from the world. You know, whatever. You can get detailed with it, you know. But if you want to live by just doing the opposite of what anxiety wants you to do, while of course you accept the thoughts and feelings, if you want to live by just that, then do it. Right? I'm all about trying to make things simple around here. I'm all about trying to make things very clear. I'm all about it. All about it. I feel like there's way too much overcomplication around this sort of stuff. I feel like it's way too complicated most of the time. So I've always kind of made it my personal goal to make it as simple as possible. So tonight, guys, when this stream goes off, you know, I don't know your lives individually, but tonight, guys, when this stream goes off, do the opposite of what anxiety wants you to do. Enjoy it, right? Enjoy your night. Do what you want to do. Start calling your own shots, right? Instead of taking these anxiety's advice, which is just reinforcing it, right? Right. Mom of 8. Mom of 8. Mom of 8. Thank you so much, Mom of 8. Can we get a huge shout out in the chat for Mom of 8? I want to see those emojis rolling, chat. I want to see them rolling. Mom of 8 with the $20 tip says, sometimes I'll have a bad day, then I'll have a pretty good day. I guess recovery is like being on a roller coaster. It can be, but we don't want to look at those quote-unquote bad days as bad days. They're not bad days. They're retraining days. This is when you need to be doing the opposite of what anxiety wants, right? Wonder Bros, seems you know exactly what I need to hear. Thank you. Hope you treated yourself on your birthday. Thank you so much, Mom of 8. I really appreciate that. Again, chat, let's show her some love in the chat. Thank you on that 32-day streak. We are not starting from 0. We'll just go to 33 and then on up. Where will it stop? I don't know. That's not up to me. What to do with feelings when the feelings are opposite of what we want to feel. Forcing right feeling will make it worse. So how the approach feelings doesn't fix itself. So you can't force the right feelings. There's no such thing. People say, well, I don't want to force myself to feel right. Well, you can't. That's impossible. You can't do it if you wanted to. So let's say you're sitting there and you're feeling anxious. And you say, I feel good right now. Does it ever work? No, it doesn't. But here's the thing. A consequence of living your life is that the feelings will change on their own and you'll start to feel better. Right? So although you can't sit there and scream to yourself, feel better, and that works, because it doesn't. That's what people mean by trying to force feelings. It just doesn't work. What you can do, because you're in resistance at that point, what you can do is use the advice, do the opposite of what anxiety wants. As a result, the feelings will change on their own. As a consequence of using the advice, the feelings will start to change on their own in time. Does that make sense? So you're not trying to force anything, but you are doing your own thing. You are calling your own shots. You are doing the opposite of what anxiety wants, and as a consequence of doing that, eventually the feelings will start to naturally change on their own. Feeling follows action. So no, you can't force anything to happen, but feeling does follow action. So as you start to do the opposite of what anxiety wants, the feelings start to change as a consequence of that. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? True Speaker says, hey everyone, what's up, Truth? Welcome. Welcome. I hope you're having a good night. Welcome. I feel like we're on the ball tonight, chat. I feel like we're on the ball. It's a good stream. Kate, Kate making the little pumpkin and the kitties do their little monster munch, monster smash. What is it? Monster. He did the smash. Monster munch is a chip. My fat ass, I swear. It's smash. Thank you so much, Kate, for making the pumpkins and kitties do the monster smash. I appreciate you. $10 tip says appreciate you, bub. I've come leaps and bounds over the past couple weeks. Thank you for providing all this information so we can heal. It is my pleasure, Kate, and it makes it worth it to hear comments like that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. What's that put us at? 35, man. We're on a 32-day streak. I think we're moving on to 33. I can feel it. I can feel it. I'm confident. I'm confident in it. I see. Thank you for the clarity. Yes, so you can never technically force feelings, right? And that's why people say that doesn't work and makes it worse, because then you're in resistance. You're like, please, I want to feel good. I want to feel good, right? So that doesn't work, and that's why people say it doesn't work, because it doesn't. But a consequence of doing the opposite of what anxiety wants means that the feelings will start to change on their own, right? Right? So as you're doing the opposite of what anxiety wants, the feelings will naturally change on their own. No, you can't sit there and try to force them to change. That's just resistance. That's just second fear. But you can start doing what you want regardless of how you feel, and as a consequence of that, the feelings will start to change on their own. There you go. I hope I made that as clear as possible. I don't know how else I could really put it, but I think that's pretty clear. That's awesome to hear, Truth. I'm happy. Happy for you. Damn, came late, have to watch later. It happens, Mike. Sometimes that YouTube notification bell, it just doesn't work, dude. It just doesn't work. That's why I always try to drop the Discord notifications, because I don't trust that damn bell. But if you don't have the bell rung on the channel beside the subscribe button there, you should do that, because sometimes it comes through, but not all the time. So. And I really don't know why that is. I really couldn't tell you. Really couldn't tell you. Also, guys, if you have left any comments on the streams here recently, and I have not gotten around to it, I have been kind of swarmed with happy birthday comments here recently in my comments, so I'm trying to go through them all, and that's why I'm a little bit later than usual. I know I do miss comments from time to time, but I'm talking about the comments that are left after the stream ends, like on the recorded videos. Yeah, I'm pretty far behind on those at the moment, but I do appreciate all of the very nice and lovely happy birthday wishes. Thank you for that, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Bum, bum, bum. Speaking of the channel, let's get a sub count, because we haven't got one of those in a while. Who was that? Who was that? What was that? Who was that? What was that? Let's go find out. I clicked off right when that happened. Sanchez with the $50 tip, dude, says, what a bro, my dude, you're awesome, brother. Sanchez, no, you are awesome, dude. Thank you so much. Thank you. That puts us at our $50 tip goal for the night. You know what that means, chat. Not only did we hit tip goal, but we are moving on to a 33. Let that sink in, guys. A 33-day streak. Like I said, we are not starting from zero. We'll just keep it going up, 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 right? We are not going to start from zero. 33-day streak. That is absolutely insane. I don't know what else to say. I really don't, besides thank you guys so much. Let's give a huge shout out to all of our supporters tonight. Sam, Sanchez, Kate, mom of 8. I believe that's everyone. I think it is. If I missed you, please call me out on it. But Sam, mom of 8, Kate, and Sanchez, let's show these guys some love, dude. They really do help support me and the channel, and it means a ton to me. They don't have to do that, but they choose to. So let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for your kindness. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is absolutely insane, guys. 33 days. Wow. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the hell out of that. Sanchez in the Halloween spirit, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've got a ton of supporters, man. Not just these guys tonight, but we've had a ton of people help us get to this 33-day streak, which is just, like I keep saying, it's just absolutely insane. So just a huge round of applause to all of these amazing people. I really do appreciate it. I see you out there. I see you out there, and I am thankful. Thank you so much. So much. You are awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Hey, so you've got two choices. You either continue to reinforce that false alarm. You say you woke up feeling anxious. It's been a while. You can sit around, worry about that, and reinforce that false alarm because it is a false alarm. Or you can realize it's a false alarm, right? You can realize it's a false alarm, do the opposite of what anxiety wants. Anxiety wants you to worry about it, try to reinforce it, listen to its advice. Or you can do the opposite of what anxiety wants, which is what we're talking about tonight. Live your life, have a good day regardless, and you can cheat your brain and make your brain one step closer to understanding that those alarms are false, right? So the ball is in your court now, so to speak, and what you do from here on out is really up to you. It's really up to you. You've got the knowledge, and the rest is up to you. Have it another way. Maddie's gonna be so mad because she's not here to hear me sing. I have to hum this one because I don't know the words to it. Hi, Wonder Bro, how are you doing? How are you doing, Style Alert? I'm doing great. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're doing the opposite of what anxiety wants today, right? What's the opposite of what anxiety wants, chat? No longer fighting with those thoughts and feelings, no longer hiding away, no longer being quiet, just living your life, right? You can break that down to your own personal circumstances and ask yourself, okay, what does anxiety usually sucker me into doing? I'm going to do the opposite of that. So I hope that's what you've been doing, Style Alert. And of course, everybody else in chat, I hope that's what you've been doing, is the opposite of what anxiety wants. We know that the brain learns through pure experience, right? No sense in trying to reason with it. Got to get back into life. Drop those compulsions. It really is, man. Well, I mean, we could go on stream after stream after stream, but it really is all summed up with those words right there. Do the opposite of what anxiety wants. That really does sum it all up. It really, really does. The Style Alert says, yes, I have. I'm happy to hear it. And I feel so great. Recovery is close. I can taste it. That is awesome. Comments like that, it makes it all worth it. Makes it all worth it. Don't worry, I'll brag. I see you, Kate. I see you. Just being patient while my recovery unfolds. Well, you just got to think of it in terms like, if I'm triggered and I'm just living my life, then I'm healing. If I'm triggered and I'm doing compulsions, which is what anxiety wants me to do, I'm hiding away from it, I'm fighting with it, I'm not doing things that I want to do, I'm not calling the shots, the anxiety's calling the shots. If that's the case, we got some work to do, and we need to start living by doing the opposite of what anxiety wants, which can be very personal. You have to do your homework, decide what it is, right? It's usually very easy to see. But if you're just in your situation, you're just very close to recovery, and you're just chilling, doing your own thing, then it sounds like you're on the right track. I'm new here. Well, welcome. Wonder about a question. I've had anxiety feels while you're asleep, but you're conscious of the feels. This happened to me a few months ago, but I ignored it. Let me reread that. I've had anxiety feels while you're asleep, but you're conscious of the feels. Can you reword that for me? Reword that for me just a little bit. Just a little bit. Hello, Wonder Bro. What's up? What's up, Pooty? Welcome, dude. Hope you're having a good day, good night. I love you, man. Welcome. Welcome. good to see all these familiar faces tonight. I love you guys. Hope you're having a great day, Pootie. I just need to clear my head. Oh, clear my head. Like, I think I kind of get the gist of what you're asking, Sanchez, but just for, like, the sake of clarity, if you could just explain it to me in a slightly different way. Make sure we're on the same page here. Anxiety while you're asleep? Well, if you're fully asleep, then you're unconscious, right? If you're fully asleep, then you're unconscious. Now, if you mean like waking up or being half asleep or being in that awkward, weird state between conscious and unconscious, you know, if you're referring to being anxious like while you're attempting to sleep or while you're half asleep, half out asleep, that sort of thing, very normal. Sleep disturbances are very, very, very freaking normal. But I get what you're getting at. I get what you're saying. It's hard to kind of explain. Yeah, there you go, Pootie. So you know what to do. You know exactly what to do. You know exactly what needs to be done. Do the opposite of what anxiety wants, right? That's the title of tonight's stream. So what does the anxiety want you to do? It wants you to A, worry, and it wants you to B, do your compulsions, whatever your compulsions might be in your situation, right? It wants you to do not what you want to do, but what it wants you to do. And when we do what it wants us to do, we reinforce that false alarm. So like the title of the stream says tonight, Pootie, do the opposite. Do the opposite of what anxiety wants you to do. Yeah, that's like that weird half asleep, not asleep, but yes asleep. It's oh man, it's a very hard one to put into words. But I get what I get what Kate and Sanchez are trying to say, and yes, I've experienced that myself. Yeah. It's hard to put in words because in one way you are asleep, but in another way you're not. It's strange. It's hard to put in words, but I get completely what you're trying to say. I get completely what you're trying to say, and yes, I have experienced that myself. Very normal. At least in my experience, very, very normal. I had several weird, just I don't know, weird things happen dealing with sleep while I was going through my journey. And I assumed that it was always just, you know, the hyped up brain, obviously, playing tricks on you. Yeah, you're definitely not in the sensitized state anymore, Pootie. You are what I would call recovered from the sensitized state. I would say now at this point it's just a matter of continuing your self-growth and your self-improvement, which those things can be improved even outside of the sensitized state. Would I say you're sensitized? No, I would not. I would say you've healed your nerves, but I would say that you can continue to grow. I would say that you can continue to put in some work, right? I think we can agree on that, right, Pootie? Yeah, there's all sorts of weird things you can feel as far as sleep goes. And honestly, it's just that really hyperactive brain. That really hyperactive brain, just you're asleep, you're not asleep. It's weird, weird. And I'm getting excited moments, and I'm even okay talking about my anxiety like in the past. Those are both great signs, Pootie. Like I said, dude, I would not consider you sensitized anymore. I would say that you have healed your nerves. You know, there might be a little bit more work to do, but I would say now it's just a matter of continuing to grow, just as a person in general, and just with your mental health in general. But being sensitized, I would not say you're sensitized. There might be a little work to do, but I think you get what I'm getting at. Hey, that's awesome, man. I'm loving seeing all this progress in the chat tonight. It's great to see. Yeah, you're definitely okay, Sanchez. You're definitely okay. Like I said, I've experienced many weird occurrences dealing with sleep. Not just complete, not being able to sleep, but I've experienced like kind of weird sleep disturbances, right? And I've always just chalked it up as that hyperactive brain, which is still very much active with the stress response and whatnot, still going on while you're asleep, right? And it's just hard to explain. So you get into that deep sleep, you finally get some relief, but being in and out of sleep, being half asleep, some weird feelings can occur when you're in that tired nervous system. But you're absolutely going the correct route by not adding the worry to it, which again is what, chat? It's what the anxiety wants you to do, but we're no longer doing, right? We're no longer doing what the anxiety wants us to do, because that's the whole point. We're teaching the brain by calling the shots now that all is well. Don't let the sun go down. Don't let the sun go down. I just guess these words 90% of the time. Let you in on a little secret. I just guess these words. I don't even know if I'm right. Close enough. Close enough, though. Close enough. Just remember what we talked about today, right? If you're tempted to try to figure out those intrusive negative thoughts, just remember that's what anxiety wants you to do. It wants you to be certain. It wants you to figure out this irrelevant crap. And we're living by the mantra, if you want to call it a mantra. Not a huge fan of that word, but if you want to call it a mantra, we are living by doing the opposite of what anxiety wants us to do, right? Always, 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 always. Go at your own pace, of course, but don't forget those words. Never forget those words. Eight more days for October, Halloween, everything. Yes, sir. It's right around the corner, Sanchez. Right around the corner. So close. So close I can taste it. So close. It did, didn't it? It really did, Kate. Really did. All right, guys. I'm going to grab that link to the Discord real quick for anybody who wants to join us over there. Always try to remember to do that at least once a stream. Also, guys, take just a second. Give this stream a like if you enjoyed it. It really does help the channel grow. All right, dropping that Discord link. Let's get some likes in here. I know, right? September went by way so fast. It really did. Really, really did. And you know what we're going to do? Because we haven't done this in a minute. If I can find it, that is. We're going to listen to what people commonly refer to as the channel theme song. We're going to listen to that. And we're going to we'll start winding it down here. Let's see. Get that ready to go. Get that ready to go. All right, guys. We've got it. We've got it set up. We got it ready to roll. Sanchez, I will check that out, dude. Took you 2 weeks to set it up. I've got to see that. Let's see what that 2 weeks of work looks like. I've got to check that out, dude. I've got the channel song, as people call it, ready to go. We're going to switch on over. Just want to let you guys know real quick first that I am so thankful for everything that you continue to do. I'm so thankful for your support. Um, Sometimes we get so caught up and so wrapped up, we don't take a moment to let people know how truly grateful we are for them. And I try to make time for that. I try to make time for that. I try to make time to let you guys know how thankful I am for you, and how awesome you are to have chosen me. I just feel honored. There's so many, resources out there on the internet for this sort of thing, and the fact that you landed on my channel and decided to stick around, I really do appreciate that. And like I said, I don't know what I would do without this channel. I appreciate the shit out of you guys. I love you so very much, and that's why I want to see you get better, because I know you can, right? I absolutely know you can, and one thing I know for certain is that you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it, and I know you can do it. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. It was a great stream. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you so much for all of your love once more. And until next time, as always, stay awesome.
I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Did it die, yeah. Did it die. Did it die. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Whatever you want, I'll be whatever you want. Just tell me you love me or not, whatever it costs. I know I'm talking a lot, there's something I gotta get off. Don't wanna be this no more, I don't wanna drink no more. Always gotta do the most, thinking that I'm insecure. Really should've listened more, but I don't, of course. I'm an asshole, I'm a good guy, I'm your best friend, I'm the worst type. Tell you everything that you heard right, just so I can fuck on the first night. Feel like I'm losing hope, running from coast to coast. I don't know where to go, this all I've ever known. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. No. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Won't die. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? My aunt think I'm perfect, I know I'm not. My mama be worried, I told her stop. They know I did drugs and think that I'm off. Little do they know I never could stop. My manager hate when I'm pulling up late. Back on my bullshit, she think it's a phase. I got relations I gotta maintain. I'm two different people, my side and my main. Yeah, I'm sober, I'm an addict, I'm a low life, I got habits, but I refuse to be average. Really so tired of acting, don't know what I miss no more. Too bad you don't hit me more. I'm bad when I get too bored, careful what you wishing for. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. No. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? I'm a stone